Another great or common interview question is, what is your greatest weakness? It's usually prefaced by, hey, what is your greatest strength? But what they really want to get to is, hey, what's your greatest weakness? And what the interviewer is kind of looking for is for you to kind of hang yourself a little bit, and you don't want to do that. You don't want to, talk about your unbelievable great weakness that might torpedo the job for you. What's your greatest weakness? I have a hard time getting out of bed in the morning. I'm late to my job like 50% of the time. That's a real great weakness. It's always on my performance reports and I'm always late. You know what? That might be your greatest weakness, something to probably work on and improve, by the way. But it's not something where you have to emphasize my all-encompassing greatest weakness. So understand that you don't have to kind of hang yourself, so to speak, or really give it all up when the interviewer asks you that. They know you're not going to just totally bash yourself, but they're looking for an honest answer on that and what might be a great weakness. Now, a good way to answer that question is to take a great weakness or a weakness that might be also a strength. One thing you find in business that many times with people with their strengths are also their weaknesses as well. They might be a great public speaker as a strength, but they might be overconfident and maybe overbearing or over speak their audience or talk too technical to their audience, and that becomes a weakness at the same time. So that's not uncommon. So what you could do is take one of your kind of weaknesses or take one of your strengths and talk about how sometimes if you're not watching it can get all under control, and that could be potential weakness, and then talk about how you have it under control and you've really mitigated that weakness. So here's a really common classic example. Feel free to use it, by the way. One thing too, as far as this demonstration, is it's always good to pause with the weakness, like you're almost thinking like, wow, I have a weakness? I couldn't even imagine such a thing. So it's almost like you give a little pause. You'll see me in the demonstration. It's okay. It's kind of fun too. All right, so let's answer that. What is your greatest weakness question? That's a real good question. Let me think for a second. Well, one of my greatest weaknesses, it's almost kind of like a strength in some ways, but one of my greatest weaknesses is sometimes I just work really, really hard. And I'll put in long hours and all that, and that's doesn't sound like a weakness, but sometimes by doing that, I expect a lot out of my other teammates and my the people that report to me, and so I have an expectation that they would work as hard as me. I have to understand that folks have lives, they have to balance their lives, and even though I might work hard, and sometimes maybe I work a little too hard, but I have to really be aware that to not use that against my team members, and so I'm very conscious of that, and maybe every once in a while I'll catch myself on that, but the idea is I really, really work hard, and and I just really need to be understanding of them as far as their work levels and how they might, work processes might be different from my teammates and employees that work and report to me. So that'd be kind of like my greatest weakness. Okay, so that was a little chunky on that particular answer there, but the idea is I paused for a second, I thought about something, I talked about my weakness being, boy, I work too hard. Boy, couldn't we have a lot of people have such a weakness? But it could be something else too. Maybe it's something like something you overcome or whatever. Maybe it's like, I used to stutter a lot, or occasionally I might stutter a little bit and I have to really just watch that, or something, and that's how you overcome it, or something else that might be somewhat of weakness that you're overcoming. The best part about the weakness question is focus on things that are not really related as crucial to the job, things that could potentially be a strength actually, and how you're managing or mitigating that. We want to mitigate or manage our weaknesses and then really emphasize our strengths. And then emphasizing that, of course, with the companies and how we can make a contribution.